Stop right there. You know, one of the great advantages of hosting television and radio current affairs programs is that you receive a mountain of feedback and opinion which give you a pretty good grasp of what the mob's thinking, you and I. And it's for that reason I can now say with some extreme certainty that the New South Wales Liberal Party will be booted to the kerb at the next state election in March. Today's appointment of Green Liberal Matt Kean as Deputy Leader has now guaranteed it, because the party's loyal Conservative base has no time for him. None whatsoever. I hear this and read this every single week. This is a bloke whose mentor is Malcolm Turnbull, the great toxic pest who loves nothing more than poisoning Liberal governments. This is the bloke whose emissions reduction targets are more in line with Adam Bance from the Greens. He wants a 50% cut by 2030, 7% more than what the Greens, Teals and Labor have passed in the lower house last week. Of course, when blackouts hit last month, what happened? Those keen green ideals were replaced with a panic drive to find more baseload power from coal and gas. You see, reality bites hard when you don't do your proper homework. And this is the bloke whose efforts to destabilise the Morrison Government through that election campaign became the stuff of Macquarie Street legend. And tonight he is the Liberal Party Deputy.
I have a great relationship with Malcolm. I think he's one of the outstanding thinkers in Australian public life. Malcolm's certainly been a great friend to me.
In fact, we'll have 50% of all new cars sold in New South Wales being electric by 2030.
Well, I'm very disappointed. I was hoping to make this announcement standing beside the Prime Minister today and the Treasurer at Frydenberg, but they're not to be found.
He does his best for the other side, doesn't he? That's a dubious catalogue for a Liberal politician who's far better suited, as you can tell from that little package, to serve the Labor Party or even the Greens. Matt, come on. It is not too late if you're watching. Jump now. You're only young. Now, Liberal Party members would rather get Malcolm back into the ranks than Kean wielding that much power, although that could be an exaggeration. I'll take that back. But in the eyes of angry Liberal members, there's only a split hair between them. This is how the Premier today tried to explain why this philosophical odd couple will work.
You know, the Liberal Party has two sides, the Conservative side and the moderate side. Now, I think it's well known that I come from the Conservative side of the party and that Matt comes from the moderate side of the party. But as John Howard once said, and so perfectly well, the Liberal Party is at its best when it embraces both its Conservative and Liberal traditions.
My argument would be that because the left of politics has gone more further to the centre and to the right, that John Howard adage doesn't stand the test of time. My tip is wait for the first or second poll in 2023, and if Dominic Perrottet looks beaten, Matt Kean will make a run for the top job. But anyway, it won't matter. Mark down today's unanimous endorsement of Kean, unanimous, as Deputy Liberal Leader, as the day the party lost all hope of holding on for another term. Not since Turnbull has a senior New South Wales Liberal driven their membership to distraction like Matt Kean. I get it every week. If you thought he had a large say as New South Wales Treasurer and as the highest placed moderate in the government, you ain't seen nothing yet. He's now the Deputy, and the party is about to become even more Labor light than it already is. And that gives the people of New South Wales no choice at all next March. If only the power brokers could pull their heads out of their proverbials and start listening to their members, they might see what terrible damage they've just done today to the Liberal Party. Labor's opposition leader Chris Minns should start measuring up the Premier's office tonight, ready to install new curtains and furniture for the next New South Wales Labor government.